Hello comrades, welcome back. Season 3, Clan War, enemy number 1, and of course it would be Deja Vu. So just our luck, Jungle Heat and their infinite wisdom and their queuing algorithm thought that they would be a good fit. Probably because we're at the start of a new season and everybody's equal. So you know the drill, let's go and talk about these bases. Let's start with Fox. Fox is running a couple things on his monuments. He's got building walls, 10% gun damage, 15% damage first ground, 15% spider plus 3, and building an additional 10%. So that's 20% on top of what the base value shown here is. So this is obviously augmented by a shield generator, and it also has the modular gun with the shield module. That's where you're getting the additional 20%. So from base value of 4,000, 20% of that is 800, so plus 54 is 6,200. If he's running defensive blueprints, it's going to be now 6,600. So bottom line is, don't worry about airstrikes, because you're not going to take it down. I think, honestly, we need to get a little creative and run a deactivation strat against this base to try and hold off. And if you have the golden monument of attack that increases the radius of the deactivation, that would be something that I might consider, dropping them right here. We'll want to attack from the northeast. We're not going to worry about spawning special bunkers and taking them out by cutting them into ion station range because we're not going to be using airstrikes. Obviously, spiders are running freeze, which is evident. And if we go from the northeast, we might be able to get a good breach, take out these low HP structures, and throw down some bombs to see if we can take out the defensive units and then just get a good clean path to this ion station. Once you get into the juicy caramel center of this ion station, hopefully you'll have enough DPS left that you can maybe take down the command center and get a star or two out of this. So the other special bunkers down here at the bottom, if we're deploying from the northeast, I don't think this will be an issue. I don't think we'll have to worry about it. And I don't think this bunker is going to be an issue either. Heroes are in the mid to upper 20s, maybe low 30s. Don't quote me on that. That is speculation. But I think we might want to try the deactivation game on this base just because I just don't think airstrikes are going to be nearly as effective. They might be in softening up the defenses. If you have max airstrike range, you can take out these watchtowers, these cannons. You can take out the modular gun, which reduces the health of the ion station. You can drop these shield generators as well, possibly this cannon, possibly this watchtower. You might even want to try an airstrike game right around here and take out these spiders and watchtowers. Because if you do that, then it might clear the way and make it easier for you to get to the ion station to try and take it down. So this is really going to be a DPS race to see if you can get there quick enough. And I'm seeing a Colossus, so obviously that's going to be another thing to have to contend with. So, alright, let's move on to the next base. By the way, they're all probably going to be particularly difficult. Let's look at Block. He was the former #1 contender in Jungle Heat in terms of rating. Building walls 10%, gun damage 15, plagiarizing Fox, spider plus 3, damage first ground 15. He differs and does walls plus 25% instead of an additional 10% on buildings. I do agree with Fox over Block on the placement. And if you have max range airstrikes, you can take out both of these spider guns. So I would absolutely advocate drop airstrikes right on the command center. You'll soften up the defenses on ion station. You won't be able to take it out, but you will be able to get it down. Block has 4235, so a little quick math. I believe that the spider gun at max level is 3500. I'm going to go back and review this, so take an additional 20% of what that would equate to, which I think is about 700, and add it on to this. You're going to be hovering just under 5,000. So just be cognizant of the fact that you might have to do a little bit of math. Compute your total damage throughput on all 6 airstrikes, max level airstrikes. So 750 times 2, so that's 1,500, so 4,500. So this, you might actually need the extra damage monument if you're going to be doing that, and you're probably only going to be able to take one of these spider guns down. So if you have the max range one, you will not be able to take out the spider rounds. If you have increased damage, you likely can. It's just a matter of picking and choosing. I might do this. He's got special bunker over here, so if you're going to run airstrikes, see if you can spawn special bunkers and kite them into airstrike range. They are opposite of each other. And then he's got his clan HQ way the hell out here in left field. Well, technically right field, but you get the idea. So I'm not really sure that, so you can actually probably kite the Colossus around if you're pretty good at it and keep it preoccupied. So I don't really think the clan HQ is going to be an issue. Obviously the walls are going to be a challenge. They're max level. They're 8,500 plus an additional 25%, so it's like 10,000. So bring some bombs, bring some friends, bring some fireworks, and anticipate a vortex strat because it's got them already built up. with some invaders and bombs and sappers. All right, next base. Can't pronounce his name. It's a Russian name. So we'll call him Mr. Rusky. He's got max level mind control MC50. Damage troop, questionable monument there. Wall 16, damage reverse ground 15. And he's got a resource monument. So he doesn't have all defensive monuments. One thing, he doesn't have anything that enhances building HP. So I'm pretty confident max level airstrike range can take out both of the spiders, Watchtower, Jericho, as well as Clan HQ, and that's probably what I would advocate for. I'm trying to find out where his Ion Station is, though. That's kind of the challenge. I'm not seeing it, and I feel like I'm blind because I don't think any of these bases do not have it. So quite possibly it may be the case that Mr. Rusky doesn't have an Ion Station, and it doesn't appear that he does. Okay. Well, nonetheless, it'll still be a challenging base. Spawn the bunker up here because it's close to the edge. You can drop a bomb or two. Kite special bunker units here into airstrike range. Let's see if he's got another one. I don't believe so. He might not be active. I mean, his storage, his gold storage is full. I'm just really surprised that I'm not finding an Ion Station. So that does make things much easier with this base. This base is much easier than I thought. So drop max range airstrikes in this vicinity. Basically take out the center and then just do an assessment and figure out what would be the best place to deploy troops. I'm actually thinking take out these three structures and buy yourself a little bit of insurance and take out the oil rig and the gold mine and then attack from the southeast, get a good breach, get on that modular gun, and then try and trace the line on the modular gun. It's probably going to go oil storage, shield generator, flame tower, watchtower, and at this point I think you'll be in pretty good shape if you can get a good solid breach to center. So very 3-starable. Next base. RK1, he's got deceleration, so that's a max wall, reduces the 80%. The freeze effect is extended by an additional second. Gun damage 7%, building wall 6% damage, traps an additional 10% damage versus air 15%. Very interesting monuments, so let's take a look at the base. He's got the Ion Station, which is outside of range of the shield generator, so that is a mistake. This thing is susceptible to fall. He's got his Clan HQ too close to Ion, so you're going to drop max level Ions right here. This is basically a repeat of the previous base of Rusky's. So same strat, max range airstrikes, take out the Ion Station, take out Clan HQ. You'll take out Watchtower. You'll likely take out these other two Watchtowers over here. The special bunker I don't believe is going to be spawnable unless you get lucky with a sapper, but I think that's a little too risky because you don't want to run the risk of spawning Clan HQ troops. So don't worry about that. You're just going to have to deal with that one. I don't really know which side to... Actually, this is almost the exact same setup here, except he's got your special forces and then as well as your barracks and a comp center. So peel away layer 1 of the onion on the southeast side, drop some bombs, breach, bang, and clear. Take out flame towers. You got some def drones hanging out here and some more right over here, so expect the def drones possibly over here. But yeah, if you can take out that Ion and then take out these watchtowers and the Clan HQ, then really it's a DPS race to get to the spider gun, and that's what you want. Bring plenty of bombs because he's got the increased deceleration for those units on the wall by an additional second. So this is very much an anti-air base, so if you're running the ground game I think you'll be okay. Next base. I'm going to take another sip while this base loads. Good thing about this base is he's running attack and resource monuments. Or I'm sorry, he already had attack and resource monuments swapped out. So the bad news is I can't really tell what he's running. Chances are this is a max level MC50, and these structures, these monuments, might be enhancing the building HP of structures. So I don't know what Anarchy is running. So we need to play worst case scenario, defensive blueprints, building damage enhancement. Let's not run the airstrike game against this base. Let's stick to deactivation possibly. If we're gonna do the airstrike game, then drop them right on this Jericho. That way you can take out the Clan HQ, Jericho, Cannon, Watchtower, Flame Tower, and maximize your damage throughput. You might actually want to consider dropping them directly on top of the Clan HQ, and then that way you might be able to take out these two Flame Towers, the third Flame Tower, a mortar, the Watchtower, Cannon, soften up the Death Ray, and take out the Jericho. So some options, but if you're going to be running the deactivation game, I would probably focus on deactivation right here. This is very similar to Fox's base because he's got the same positional placement on the spider guns on the corner. So you're going to try and get to the ion station and try and maybe deactivate the spider gun. If you're running the airstrike game, obviously try and spawn clans from the special bunker and get them into airstrike range. So you could do it. So this is kind of a symmetric base in a lot of respects. And I would probably pick one of the northwest or the northeast side to deploy troops and try and get the spider gun and the ion station down. So this will be a particularly challenging base, but it'll be a good one nonetheless. Our next base is another Rusky. Can't pronounce it. I made the closest approximation with H, even though I know that's not the case. Spider +3 damage versus air, 15 damage versus ground, 15 fire damage. Very interesting. And an additional damage versus ground 1%. So no building modifiers, no building enhancements. Searching for ion not found. Okay, wow, another base that I expected to find an ion. Nonetheless, what you're going to do, you're going to gen aggro on special bunker, drop a bomb or two, probably 3 because these cannons will one-shot them. So do 3 bombs right here, kite the units towards the command center by dropping an expendable unit on the west side. You're going to drop max range airstrikes right here. You're going to take out Clan HQ. You're going to take out both spiders. The watchtowers will fall as a result of collateral damage. And if you get lucky, you might even be able to soften up the defenses on these death rays as well. And then it's just a matter of picking a side to get a nice good breach. I'm thinking the northwest might be best. Anytime I see a barracks, I know you're only going to be dealing with 420 HP, and then special forces is 450. So this layer will fall very quickly. And you don't have to worry about the ion station, so you can take your time on this one as well. And then this watchtower will fall. Once you get these units down, you drop some bombs, breach, bang, and clear, and try and get it centered up on this flame tower so that your units go right on in. And then so this base should be 3-starable, in my opinion. Very 3-starable. Next one is Weedy. Something about Weedy, it reminds me, I'm not really 100% sure. It's just, I know I've seen the name quite a bit. Spider +3, building wall 10%, gun damage 15%, and then he had 2 attack monuments. I don't know if that's the case with this Clan War base. Yes, there's one and another. So Weedy did not come prepared for the fight, but nonetheless, he's got a formidable base, 4,000. Let me go back and see if there was any. Yeah, so an additional 10%. So this is really 4,400. And then an additional 10% on top of that will put it at 4,800. So you will need the damage enhancement monument to be able to take down this ion station, which is probably what I would recommend. He does not have a max level spider gun, but he's still running freeze rounds, which is to be expected. He's got Clan HQ probably hoisting a Colossus, and it is. He's got max level death rays, so getting to that middle is going to be problematic because you get hung up on these death rays, and meanwhile the spider guns are going to be slowing you down. So couple of options here. Airstrike game, if you're going to take out the ion station, gen aggro on special bunker, kite them over to the ion station, drop them with airstrikes, and then do the same on the other side. I would do this side first because it's farther away from the ion station. So drop a bomb, gen aggro, drop an expendable troop, but something that will be able to survive the mortars, because you need to be able to triangulate and make sure that the troops are going to go into the ion station, which would be right about here. So you could drop a troop and they'll have to contend with the mortar. Might consider Huntress or someone with at least a little bit of HP. The problem is, though, is if you put it too close to the special bunker, you're going to spawn that. So then again, I'm gonna double back on my words. Start with this bunker first. Do this guy first. Spawn troops, get them into ion station, drop airstrikes. Do the same thing over here. Spawn troops. Then you can return fire. Drop a troop right here, and then your Moseys will come into airstrike range on the ion station. Then you can breach, bang, and clear. I would probably attack from the southeast on this one. There's a lot of structures, and there's some unusual filler space here, so this can be a little misleading. So there's really 2 layers, but the only structures that are formidable are the bioreactors and your biofuel storage. So once you get through that, I think you'll be in pretty good shape. You're not going to be under too much pressure either. I mean, you got 2 cannons and 2 watchtowers, and you compare that to the other side. You know, you got 2 mortars, 2 cannons, 2 watchtowers, flame tower. So this side is a little bit softer defensively speaking. Next base. Agent Gibbs. Agent Gibbs, let's see what you got. Spider +3 damage, 15%, building walls 10%, damage versus ground, and building an additional 10%. Very similar to Fox, probably the same person. just psychologically speaking, people that think alike sometimes are alike in the literal context. So it's just a theory. He's got 2 ion stations. Problematic base. I probably would opt that we defer and hold off to the end because you look at the health. You're gonna have to tack on additional 800 onto the 4680. So you're gonna come up with 5480. And probably the same thing with this guy over here. 4600, so an additional 800, so 5400. So basically you got double ions that are augmented by an additional 20%. So, if you're going to run the deactivation game, I'd probably do it right around here and just see if you can get into a DPS race and get towards the middle and take out these 2 structures. This is so far the most challenging base out of any of the ones that we've looked at so far. And obviously it's because you got that second ion. So you got pretty lucky finishing well in the skirmish. So really wouldn't worry about trying to gen aggro and taking out special bunker units with airstrikes. Just let's see if we can run a deactivation game. And again, I would not even plan on attacking this base within the first 12 hours of the clan war. So if you're watching this and you're assigned to him, if you're the mirror, then just kind of hold fast and let's assess if we need to invest resources and attempts on this base. So in the interim, hang tight. Howard is next. Howard's got building wall 10%, spider 3, walls 25, damage versus ground 11, and building an additional 10%. So very similar. Ion is 46, so that's really 54, potentially 5,800. And where's his clan HQ? I'm not even seeing it. It's somewhere. Oh, okay, it's up here to the north. So clan HQ obviously running Colossus. They're probably all running Colossus on this one. So yeah, again, possibly a deactivation strat. The teams and the clans that we're going up against now are starting to adapt to the airstrike game. So they're starting. That's why you're seeing more monuments now that are dedicated to increasing building HP. And I'm no different. I run with them as well. I don't have max level ones, but I do have a couple of them. So we're going to go from the southeast, and we're going to head on, peel layer 1, try and drop some bombs, get a nice good breach, and take out the ion station. Possible deactivations right around here if you have the increased deactivation range. Right on the corner of this watchtower would be pretty good, because then you can freeze up watchtower, ion, cannon, death ray, possibly this cannon, possibly this flame tower as well, and then see if we can get a nice good breach. Fortunately, the death rays are too far from center. They're in layer 3 instead of right next to the CC. So after you take out this ion station, about the only major structure that's going to hold you up is biofuel storage, as well as the command center. So if your guys peel left and go to the lightning gun and then gold storage, you're not doing too bad. So anyway, give it a shot and let's see what we got. Our next base is Ioe. I believe this might also be a Russian name, not 100% sure. Spider +2, gun damage 7, building health 7%, and then 2 attack monuments. I don't know if those attack monuments are still there. They are. There's one, and the other one might be floating around here somewhere. So he also has an ion station and health 4,600. And what was it, 7% or something like that? Yeah, building 7%. So this one is a little tricky. 7% is really close. Like once you start pushing 5K, you have to adapt. You can't drop max level airstrikes around the ion station. I would argue to be conservative about this and don't get too gutsy. I actually might advocate that you drop max range airstrikes right on top of the command center in hopes that you can take out both spiders. And if you cheat a little inward towards the corner, right where I'm hovering, you actually might even get lucky and take out the clan HQ. You'll get more bang for your buck. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze here in a second. It's brewing. Excuse me. Okay, so if you cheat a little bit towards this corner and you take out these 2 spiders and the clan HQ, that's actually better than taking out just the ion station itself. Because the ion station really only has 1 to 1.5 layers of separation between your DPS units are going to be able to get to it. So you peel layer 1, you drop some bombs and see if you can get a good breach, and then once you get to the ion station, if you can drop these 3 structures and get your units closing in on the ion station, I think you're in really good shape against this base. So it'll be interesting. We'll have to try it. I may be wrong. Next one. Joseph, spider +3, gun damage 15%, walls 25%, buildings 10%, and then building walls an additional 10%. So 20% altogether. Ion station level 3, augmented by another modular gun, shield module. This one's an additional 19%. So We're not going to be doing the airstrike game against the ion station. Viable prospects are either to run the deactivation strat right about here. If you're going to run with airstrikes max range, you might be able to take out both the Spider and the Clan HQ. If you drop max level airstrikes like right on this Death Ray. This is close though. You have to count the spaces, and they're off by 1. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's going to be too far. It's offset. The center is off by 1. If it were down, it might be close, and I might say go for it. But because it's up 1, I think it is just outside of max range airstrike radius. So probably wouldn't risk it. I might advocate that you do the activation. Peel away layer 1, which is going to be these rally points. Make sure that all structures leading up to the oil storage are taken out, and then conversely, you're going to want to ensure that there's no remaining structures left with the bioreactor or the lab, because if you drop them and you try and go inward and target this cannon, this bioreactor is probably going to distract troops as well as this mortar, maybe even the lab as well. So I've seen some really wonky things in deploying troops. So try and attack from the southeast, and again, DPS race, try and get to that ion station and go from there. Next is Mortal Dead. Damage to troop, damage versus air 7%. Later, damage versus ground 6%. Building 5%. And then the health and damage of bunker fighters are increased by 10%. So if this guy's got special bunker units, it might behoove us to take them out. So he does. He has one. Searching for ion station found. And I believe 5400. So yeah, even with the augmented increased damage HP, I think this ion station will continue to stand. Let me just kind of revisit. Actually, no, you can take out the ion station. You just have to have the monument that increases damage, probably by at least 10%. And you can drop it right on top of the ion station and ensure that you take out the modular gun as well as the shield generator after 3 strikes. 3 strikes, and I think you're in good shape, because it no longer benefits from the increased HP. So that'll drop at 20%. It'll drop at 15%. That's a total of 35%. You know, it's really just a numbers game. This is nothing but simple math. So anyway, if you can drop the ion station, I would probably attack from the southwest to see if you can get to these spider guns as quickly as possible. I would cheat more inward towards the west, though. Obviously, if we're running airstrike games, special bunkers way down here, it's too low. So I would drop a bomb, kite them into ion station range. And in fact, because you're not going to be able to take out Clan HQ, I would do the exact same thing with the Colossus. This is going to be kind of user preference. You can either adopt to spawn the Colossus and get it to sit on top of the ion station while you drop airstrikes, or you can opt to defer in hopes that you don't aggro the Colossus until later on, where most of the damage of the space is done to the west side. So, a couple of options to consider. Next might be mine, not 100% sure. Gun damage 15%, building 10%, spider plus 3, building wall an additional 10%, and then building another 5%. So 25%, that's ridiculous. 25% on top of the 4,600 I'm looking at, that's a lot. That's 5,600. So I'm not going to be able to drop airstrikes to take out the ion station. We might be swapping. We're going to be doing this thing like we did against Mother Russia. We're going to do easiest bases first and work our way on up. Spider's obviously going to be running freeze. This is pretty challenging for this being the lowest CC11 of Deja Vu. So a couple of ideas would just, he's running Vortex instead of Colossus, which is interesting. So we got to get to the ion station. We got to take that down as quickly as possible. It's just there's no real good read on how to go about doing that, because the way that this is structured, at least from what I can tell, is most of the units, even if you peel layer 1 and get in here towards where the Black Fury, the jungle is, it's going to pick one of these units and is probably going to continue following the line. So it's going to go around here, or it might go around here. You're not actually going to get a good breach here. So this is a case where I might advocate that we hold off on this base until after the 12-hour mark, and then let's just kind of assess our options, because we need to drop the ion station. We're not going to be able to through airstrikes. So we might have to consider the deactivation game. And if you were, I would probably drop it like right on this corner where the wall is. And if you have the increased range, it could freeze up these 2 watchtowers, these 2 cannons. You could freeze up, obviously, the ion station that takes precedence in the modular gun. So more to follow with this base, but it is pretty strong for the weakest CC11. There are bases that are rated higher that are actually much weaker than M's base. Okay, now we're down to our 10. So our 3-star master has deceleration, so freeze rounds decelerate by an increased 5%, damage to troop, damage versus ground 8%, damage versus air 7%, and there is an attack monument. I'm uncertain if it's still present. Yes, it is. It's right here. Okay, so with this one, I'm not seeing an ion station. This is going to be very easily 3-starable. Pre's got probably a pretty easy cakewalk with this base. I'd probably just take out the clan HQ so you don't have to deal with the Colossus. And obviously these watchtowers will fall. You can, in fact, if you have max range, you'll be able to take out these 5 structures easily. If you don't have max range, you can still drop them and cheat inward on the corner and still do damage, and then just kind of rotate your airstrikes. So that the one thing in common with each of the airstrikes is that it always touches the clan HQ. So I don't think we're going to have too many issues with 3-star master. I think he's going to get 3-starred, ironically. And then our last one is our CC9. This is more legit than our 3-star master base. Anarchy MK2. I think the other Anarchy was up here as well. Yes. And this one's got building 5% damage troop, walls 18% damage versus ground 6%, so nothing of relative significance. There is a special bunker that you want to be cognizant of up here. Then you also have your traditional bunkers right here, your level 4, so they'll do a little bit of damage, but same strat. Take out the clan HQ, and then there's actually a line. Careful about falling for this, because there's probably a lot of traps and stuff waiting for you, but he wants you to deploy your troops right here. Don't do it. Because what will end up happening is instead of going inward, your troops are going to go outward, and they're going to follow this, and you're just putting yourself at increased range to get chewed down by these defense structures. So kind of clever, but not clever enough. So don't do it. Do it the old-fashioned way. Do it from this way and not this way. That way you can take out these units and not be pressured by these watchtowers and these mortars up here. All right? Cool. All right, well, that concludes the briefing, so we're going to close shop here, and good luck. Get your troops cooking. Top off them clan HQs. Review some of the other videos that I got posted. Review the offensive strats in case you're unfamiliar. And, hey, like I said, let's have fun. This is the first clan war of the season. This is Season 3, so it's going to be a good one. All right, take care now. Good luck.